All right, from the health care debate to the ethics scandal surrounding Senator Charlie Rangel and Governor Patterson, politics is the talk of the town tonight. And here to talk about what you're talking about is our power panel, journalists Judy Licht and Lynn White, and advertising executive Charlotte Ann Nelson. Welcome back, the three of you. Boy, where do we start tonight, huh? We've got a whole. Let's just very quickly take a look at this health care thing. Should the Democrats? Let me start with you, Lynn. Should the Democrats use a parliamentary maneuver, 51 votes, to ram through $1 trillion or $2 trillion entitlement?
Unfortunately, that's the way it's got to be done, and we've done this before. I mean, the Republicans did it, what, a dozen times, and that's how legislation, unfortunately, is working in Washington, and unfortunately, it's the only way it seems to be working. So if we don't like it, we kind of have to change the system and the people who are in the system, and I think that's what we're seeing, a revolution in politics right now, because nobody's happy with it. Not Democrats, not Republicans, not independents. Something really now has to change.
All right, Judy, if they do it, is this good news or bad news for the Republicans in the fall?
Well, I think it's going to be good news for the Republicans, because I think if they do manage to get this through, there's going to be hell to pay. I think that you're going to see a lot more Scott Brown kind of elections, and you're going to see a lot more anger in the part of the populace. So I think the Republicans have to be rooting for it to pass, or not, as it were.
Charlotte Ann, you're shaking your head, but the latest poll, I think, showed that 61% of the American population does not want the bill that they're looking at right now. You disagree that the Democrats will be in trouble?
Yeah, I disagree. I agree with what Obama said today, which is that the issue at stake is not just whether Democrats can achieve something on health care, it's whether they can achieve something full stop. I think it would be a disaster to go into these elections with a failed health care reform proposal. I think if they've got something passed, that'll look like action.
I think the country needs it also. We're talking about health care reform. That's one of the biggest issues that we face now in our lives. And that also divvies into the economy, which is why the president said it was so paramount on his agenda. So for us not to do something about it after a year of all of this bickering and arguing
back. Would that you were in the majority. Excuse me for interrupting. Would that you were in the majority. The problem is that sheer numbers show that most people do not want any version of this bill as it exists.
We're going to get this bill. I think we're going to get a compromise version of whatever these two bills are, both in the House and the Senate.
Let's move on now to Governor Patterson. Should he resign? Should he resign right now?
No. Leave him alone.
No.
No.
Oh, for heaven's sake, absolutely.
No.
Enough with this farce. How long does he want to draw it out? We've got to understand this is a huge issue. It's not just an issue of individuals here. Political corruption like this lays the groundwork for broader economic malaise. I think we see that in upstate New York and across the state. Let's start cleaning house.
But he's not been convicted of anything.
Oh, look.
He's been charged in the papers.
The point is, I think there is an ethics issue with Charlie Rangel that we've known about. The guy hasn't paid his taxes. The guy has done all sorts of other things that we know about. But when it comes to Patterson, I think here's a man who didn't want to be in this job, or hadn't chosen to be in this job. The things they're getting him on, it hasn't been proven yet about this woman. And when you're talking about taking Yankee tickets to games, I mean, tell me that there aren't other governors. I really think, and I have a source who agrees with me, that this is part of a White House plan. They try to get him to get out of the election before. They couldn't get him. He said he was going to run. And now they're getting him on all of these little bitsy things. I mean, they're going to get him eventually, and it's going to embarrass him out of office.
I don't see the White House connection.
I'll talk to the two of you here who don't think he should resign just because the state is facing very severe problems. There's a growing budget gap. Now it's more than $9 billion for the next year. There are serious issues that have to be dealt with by grown-ups with their attention focused on it. Maybe there aren't any in Albany anyway. Maybe it doesn't matter. But don't you think the state needs a governor who can focus his attention strictly on the problems of the state?
Yeah, but who is that person?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, he's named...
The person would be Dick Ravitch.
He's named Dick Ravitch, and you know what? The ultimate joke on the White House would be is if Dick Ravitch, a Democrat, steps in for him, and then he suddenly decides he wants to run for governor. That would put a lot of Democrats...
I don't think Washington right now has that much power over the states, and I think we've seen that in elections in the states. But I think they wish they did. But I think what's happening here is that you have a guy who came into office by surprise. He was surprised, we were surprised. And now that he's there, the poor guy, I hate to say it, but he's disabled, he's blind. I think he's doing the best that he can with what he has to work with.
Last word, Charlotte.
Look, he's clinging on to office. He may be there by surprise, but he's not an ingenue who's sort of suddenly in the glare. Now, you know, we need to get some discipline back. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people facing them.
All right, Charlotte Ann, Lynn, Judy, thank you very much. I always love it.